I have the great honour of asking our keynote speaker to stand while I introduce him. Julian Gangolli is an alumni of Kingston University. A number of years ago, I won't embarrass him by giving you a number, but it's in your programme. But that's not why we honour him today. Julian has gone on to have a really distinguished career within the pharmaceutical industry. He's worked on some amazing projects. Most recently, he's involved with a group that are doing a huge amount of work around cannabinoids. And you will all be aware of how important they currently are and where they've been in the news recently in being a really effective way to help to treat seizures in children, despite what customs might think. But Julian has also done Kingston a huge service. He has, with the support of money from his family, set up a charitable group that will allow us to support students who move from undergraduate study at Kingston University within life sciences, pharmacy and chemistry on to do their master's courses. Now, he has already extended this to 2 of our students, and I know they were both able to meet with him earlier on today, and that one of those students, one of our scholars, is in the audience with us now. And I know that the support that she's got from this has been absolutely life-changing and has allowed her to go on and do something that she has dreamed of. She told me earlier that actually science was in her blood. It's all that she wanted to do. And having a sponsor who has enabled that to happen is a phenomenally brilliant thing. So Julian, just to thank you and your family for coming all this way to be here with us today. And I would very, very much like you to address the audience.
Thank you so much, Lucy. That was very nice indeed. So we have a full house today. We have 250 graduating individuals here. That is terrific. So I just want to add my congratulations to that of Dr. Jones, Professor Jones, and Lucy on what an achievement it was or is for all of you in this room. There is nothing better than understanding the value of education, and each one of you have embraced that to get your degree here at Kingston. Now, I have to say, I hope you don't mind me addressing you without my hat on, but we flew in from California. We had no idea how hot it was here. You are hotter. You're actually probably close to where Death Valley is at this present moment in time. As you can imagine, your academic faculty up here are wilting underneath these lights. So if I look like I'm perspiring, I'm not nervous, I'm just melting up here. But, you know, it's interesting. I graduated in 1981, so everyone can do the math. That was 37 years ago. The place where I did most of my tuition was at Penryn, which I think still exists, and getting bigger. And just to date me on this thing, this is obviously pre-iPad, pre-everything else. How you actually put language into a computer was with Fortran and COBOL. Now, how many people in here know those computer languages? One. Well done. Thank you. At least someone knows. But things have developed very, very quickly. And I have to say, my parents would probably be the individuals sitting in the audience in 1981 thinking, my goodness, I didn't think he was ever going to stand up on stage and get his degree. So I stand here not as someone who is academically brilliant. I'm not someone here who excels in doing exams. But I was asked, what was the one thing that Kingston opened my eyes to? And it was, in fact, the 2 industry placements that I had the opportunity of being part of. And those industry placements opened my eyes to the fact that I may not be great at taking exams, but you know what? What really excites me is the fact that I can look at a business situation and use the translation of science and turn that into something that could be useful. And that's basically been what I've been doing for the last 37 years, primarily in the pharmaceutical industry, which is an industry that I absolutely love. I think it has done so much on so many different levels for the health of individuals and communities and, frankly, nations. And we continue to need to innovate. And this is a room that I'm convinced will find new medicines, new cures, new devices to continue moving forward in terms of pharmaceutical sciences. I just want to sort of give you sort of one insight into what I think of corporations. I've been at relatively senior levels and executive levels at a couple of corporations, reasonably large ones. And I'll tell you, when you cut all through it, there are two things that describe a really good company: great ideas and terrific people. Great ideas, intellectual property, translating that into a product, and then people who have the talent to grab that and make it happen. So companies really basically have two assets: their product, their innovation, their ideas, and their people. When you can get those two individuals together or those two groups together, it's amazing what can happen. So I want to share with you very quickly, because I know we're pressed on time, just 3 very quick examples of how that comes together and perhaps may have some relevance to you when you're looking at opportunities into the future. First one was with the University of North Carolina. They approached us when I was president of Allergan in the United States, and they said, the veterinary school said, hey, look, you're in the ophthalmic business, we'd like to bring you an idea. The idea was cyclosporin. For those of you who do pharmaceutical sciences, you know cyclosporin is an immunomodulator used in liver transplantation. But the vet at the university was actually using it on the American football mascot, who's a bulldog, called Uggie. And the reason why he was using it on Uggie was bulldogs have dry eye, amazing dry eye. And he actually found that this particular formulation of cyclosporin actually cured the dry eye in the bulldog. So they came to us because we're a big ophthalmic company. We translated that, we worked collaboratively together, and at the end of the day, we created a market that never existed before. Prescription pharmaceutical for the treatment of dry eye in the United States. It is now the #1 ophthalmic pharmaceutical product in the United States. Sales are irrelevant, but it's over $1 billion. And that would never have happened unless a couple of people had got together and thought about how do we translate this observation into something that's worthwhile. The second one I want to talk about very quickly is it is a completely unexpected finding when you ask people to go into a room, go on a whiteboard and say, come out and tell me what product you could develop for aesthetics. And when they came out of the room, and what they came up with was something that was a bit of a head scratcher. We should use the single most, other than Novichok, but the single most toxic bacteria known to man, and that was botulinum toxin. So Dr. Alan Snow, an ophthalmologist in San Francisco, approached us and said, you use Botox or botulinum toxin in tiny, tiny amounts. It has an amazing therapeutic effect. The upshot of that is a product called Botox, which if you haven't heard of, you've been living under a rock for a few years, right? This was a product that we had the opportunity of bringing. Has 30 different medical indications, 60% of them therapeutic, and 40% of them are for aesthetic use. So, again, not intuitive that you would use something so powerful to have such a therapeutic value. And as Lucy mentioned, the last one is something that I'm very proud of, because if you've ever had the opportunity, or you have a family member that has catastrophic refractory epilepsy in childhood, that's a tough situation to be in for that family. And the current medical solutions for that are not great. So I joined a Great Britain company, a UK company, after I retired from Allergan, and started their US operation. Last month, we got the first ever plant-derived cannabinoid product approved by the Food and Drug Administration. That's a huge step forward, because what it has now done is legitimize the fact that the marijuana plant, the cannabis plant, take out the THC, take out the psychoactive component, has really terrific therapeutic value. And when you see the response in those children, it is terrific. So those three, I just say to you, are just examples of what you're going to be facing when you see and get into your business careers. And I'd ask you to always have an open mind, and always surround yourself with people who have an open mind, so that you can find these solutions and so that they don't go undiscovered. Finally, the thing I would say to each of you is lean in towards optimism. When I look at the people I've had the opportunity of leading, managing, however you want to describe it, it's those optimists that really make a difference. They have the can-do attitude, they look for the positives, and they look to find solutions. So it's not always easy. I can tell you, after 37 years of working, it's not always easy to be optimistic. But in that situation where you have the opportunity of being optimistic, look to that as the way to do it, because I tell you, that is what makes a difference in business. That's what makes a difference in the world. And frankly, it's nice to be around optimistic people, right? It makes life turn. So if you lean into that, I think you will always have a great time. From me to each one of you, the 250 graduating class of 2018, congratulations. You deserve your time on the red carpet here, and go out there and make it happen and make this next horizon something that you're truly proud of. Thanks very much.